The invisible game Machiavelli understood before all men begins with a mirror, not with words. Modern man still believes women want love, attention, or eternity, yet what remains when the room cools is presence, not declarations but emotional power, not speeches but controlled pulse. Love without power becomes a plea. Power in silence becomes sovereignty. Machiavelli never wrote of romance, yet he grasped the human theater deeper than any poet. He who commands appearance commands perception, and perception rules desire long before truth enters the room. Woman dominates by instinct and culture. She reads atmosphere while man seeks confession. She measures impact while he asks for clarity. Appearance is no vanity. It is a shield, a tool, a force field. What seems true moves faster than what is true, shaping desire effortlessly. Man gets lost because he confuses charm with surrender and sincerity with transparency. He wants a map while she rearranges terrain. He seeks a route while she alters the landscape. The game isn't intellectual. It's instinctive, born from patterns older than speech or reason. Jung explains the feminine principle living inside man, projecting symbols that seduce and destroy him. He kneels not to the woman but to the symbol he imagines she carries. What he calls love is often his shadow begging for redemption, and in that blindness he gives away power. While man seeks emotional justice, the feminine measures value by impact, density, rhythm, and self-control. Impact is how presence alters breathing around you. Words matter little when subtext declares hierarchy. She evaluates not what you feel for her, but who you are before her. Romance tears because of asymmetry. Man wants love, the feminine respects center. Man wants understanding. She follows whoever resists capture. Man wants certainty. She orbits whoever endures uncertainty. The weak react, the common explain, the powerful observe, and silence rules. Silence is not a trick but a law born from inner order. Machiavelli warned that the man seeking love becomes used, while the man mastering silence becomes feared. To seek love breeds dependence. To master silence builds command. One asks for a verdict, the other becomes the tribunal. The feminine strategist uses masks not to hide but to orient. Every gesture becomes a vector, every hesitation a test, every absence a ruler. It isn't conspiracy but biology shaped into art. Influence is her breathing, shaping the room long before words begin. The uncentered man raises his voice and loses the room. The woman who understands the world orchestrates attention without effort. When he loses the room, he loses narrative, then begs for love, which becomes surrender. The scene exposes structure, not sentiment. Masculine dignity is preserved not by being chosen but by remaining whole when challenged. Desire's frenzy doesn't attract. The serenity governing desire does. Respect isn't harvested through charm but lifted through discipline. Woman seeks not confession but an axis. Machiavelli understood that the man who seeks love becomes used, and the man who imposes respect becomes obeyed. The feminine test isn't moral, it's strategic. While man reacts, woman measures. While he speaks, she observes. The test ends only when he remains unmoved. Stillness is mastery, not coldness. The man unmoved before provocation understands that every emotional swing is an invitation to lose his center. His strength is the refusal to move. True power begins the moment he decides not to respond to manipulation. The man who refuses reaction communicates dominance over his own emotion, and that mastery is what instinct respects most. The one who dives into her emotions trying to fix them drowns. What he calls empathy often transmits instability, and instability kills attraction. The man who listens without bending, who observes without justifying, who stands in presence rather than desperation, awakens respect, and respect is the rarest form of attraction. A woman doesn't test love, she tests power, the power to remain composed under pressure. Every test is an inverted mirror meant to reveal whether his stability survives her chaos. A woman needs to feel the weight of his axis. When she sees he doesn't shatter under emotional turbulence, instinct triggers symbolic submission. Respect is born from that stability. Power isn't in promising love but in radiating stability. Stability is the silent language of strength. Schopenhauer saw love as biological war, and behind every smile is an ancient negotiation of instincts. One measures, the other sustains. When one yields, the other commands. The man who understands the game stops trying to win it. He remains. In a world of impulse, remaining is power. The woman who tests isn't seeking guilt but a center. The man who reacts loses place. The man who observes gains ground. One seeks acceptance, the other becomes inevitable. The feminine moves through disguise and atmosphere. The masculine gets trapped seeking clarity. Modern man demands transparency as if it were oxygen, not knowing that the feminine realm is perception, not logic. She operates through impression, not literal expression. Machiavelli warned that people judge more by their eyes than by their hands, meaning appearance outweighs truth. Woman moves effortlessly in this field, shaping atmosphere with surgical precision, while man stumbles searching for emotional justice in a world ruled by instinct. A woman rarely names her feeling. She creates circles around it. Her silence carries more intention than a man's speeches. Every gesture, every pause, every tone is symbolic power. Disguise isn't deception, it's survival. The feminine learned to manipulate environment for safety. Man seeking logic enters a maze with no exit. The map shifts the moment he thinks he's found clarity. Nietzsche said truth is an illusion forgotten as illusion. Man demanding clarity in a symbolic battlefield loses, because he asked for rules where instinct writes the script. The feminine theater is ancient. Man confuses performance with sincerity, yet disguises instinct, not falseness. It's survival refined into art. Manipulation becomes shield, not weapon. And the man who cannot read this calls strategy perversion, exposing his own fragility. Anger becomes his confession of impotence. Machiavelli saw disguise as governance, control rhythm, control perception. Woman learned rhythm from the beginning. She knows scarcity creates value and silence pulls attention. The man who explains becomes predictable. Disguise is mastery of ambiguity, controlling emotion without revealing intent. Man demands definition, wanting to frame the mystery instead of witnessing it. But power lives not in clarity but in rhythm. Certainty is his craving. Movement is her nature. The strategic man stops decoding words and starts reading patterns. Behavior reveals what speech hides. A gaze that wanders, a silence that tightens, a subtle shift. These say more than declarations. Silence isn't absence, it's command. He who sees patterns ceases reacting. Man seeking logic enters a maze with no exit. The map shifts the moment he thinks he's found clarity. Nietzsche said truth is an illusion forgotten as illusion. Man demanding clarity in a symbolic battlefield loses, because he asks for rules where instinct writes the script. The feminine theater is ancient. Man confuses performance with sincerity, yet disguise is instinct, not falseness. It's survival refined into art. Manipulation becomes shield, not weapon, and the man who cannot read this calls strategy perversion, exposing his own fragility. Anger becomes his confession of impotence. Machiavelli saw disguise as governance, control rhythm, control perception. Woman learned rhythm from the beginning. She knows scarcity creates value and silence pulls attention. The man who explains becomes predictable. Disguise is mastery of ambiguity, controlling emotion without revealing intent. Man demands definition, wanting to frame the mystery instead of witnessing it. But power lives not in clarity but in rhythm. Certainty is his craving, movement is her nature. The strategic man stops decoding words and starts reading patterns. Behavior reveals what speech hides. A gaze that wanders, a silence that tightens, a subtle shift. These say more than declarations. Silence isn't absence, it's command. He who sees patterns ceases reacting. Once he sees the structure behind the theater, he stops reacting because true power appears when the performance loses its audience. Disguise controls the naive, but the lucid man becomes the mirror, and the mirror disarms the actor by refusing to participate. There is symmetry in disguise and desire. She creates the enigma, he tries to solve it. But when he stops chasing clarity and starts reading rhythm, the game reverses. He stops being manipulated by performance and becomes the stillness that rewrites the plot. The mirror terrifies the actor. A woman doesn't fear the violent man. She fears the man who doesn't react. He doesn't play validation games, he observes, and observation becomes the fixed point in the dance. His calm gaze dissolves the theater around her. In disguise, naive men lose themselves, lucid men rise. The naive seeks meaning in words. The lucid sees meaning in emotion. The first tries to prove trustworthiness, the second shows impenetrability. One lives inside the theater, the other watches silently. Silence is mastery and influence. Control is not defeating her, but seeing the theater and staying outside it. Machiavelli wrote that wisdom is seeing 3 moves ahead. This applies to psychology. The man who controls his emotional field sees the whole board. Most men react from impulse, forgetting the game is not action but intention. The feminine moves first through atmosphere, not gesture. The common man reacts, the lucid man observes. And in relationships, whoever reacts first loses grounding.